I would like to see them, their customers, say, well, we can't stay with you because you don't support me, you don't support my town, you don't support my lifestyle, you don't support my business choices, my personal choices. So how can a customer support any sort of business, whether it be a bank, a produce, any business, that there's no reciprocation of support?
I would say very, very disappointed to see that they've made that decision. I think the decision that you've made is wrong, and you should have another look at it and reconsider.
Banks are, it's always a service for community, and community is the ones that give the money and put the money on their hands. So I think it will be good if they think about customers and just rethink what they're gonna do in the ANZ Kilcoy branch, because it's gonna affect and impact a lot of people in here.
And we've been an ANZ customer for probably, this is not going to be good. We've depended on the bank, we've relied on the bank, we've traded with the bank, and we just can't, it's another nail in the coffin. We can't, we just can't lose another, like an institution like the ANZ is important.
I haven't heard anyone who's pleased about the closure. It's gonna be difficult, painful. There's a real breach of promise from ANZ to our community. So when they made the disgusting decision to close down the Toogoolawah branch, one of the promises by ANZ to our community was it didn't matter. We had a branch half an hour down the road. Now, for people in Toogoolawah and this part of the Toogoolawah part of the Somerset, they didn't buy that, but they accepted it. And now, not long afterwards, ANZ have used an excuse about a lease to say that they can't continue with the branch in Kilcoy. This will be, without a doubt, a devastating impact to our community.
We just feel that we've just been, we're just being passed by, and we just don't know what we can do to make something happen that we can change it. We just, we sort of feel like our hands are tied. So where do we go? What do we do?
I don't accept that it's too hard to negotiate, we're going. I don't accept that as an acceptable outcome for myself, my business, or any other business down that street. I'm sure most of the businesses down there don't have company cars to send staff away in. I can allow my staff to use my car, but I'm immediately putting them at risk. Immediately. Yes, we do deliveries, but that is a different circumstance, and I have, workplace health and safety, I have insurance in place for those. It's a whole new cost on business because they can't support the community that built them.
I have 2 kids, and it's the way to help my husband to have an income in my house also. If the sales are getting down, I probably have to close my shop, and it's something that we don't like it because we have put a lot of effort and a lot of effort every single day to stay here, leaving my kids on the care of somebody else, and sometimes working on Saturdays, on Sundays, spending spending time here rather with my family. So I really like the shop just continue, but if the sales are not good, I can't stay because there is a lot of bills and a lot of costs that is to stay here. I have to pay rent, electricity, and all these kind of things that these days are really expensive, and especially with this kind of shop because electricity bill is always for $1,000 or more than that. So just if they can stay and they can help looking for solution for Kilcoy and for businesses in Kilcoy, it will be good for us.
I know it's a decision for you know, for the banks, they, you know, whether they sort of say, well, we weren't going to close, so if, you know, if we weren't going to close, what can we do to stay open? What can we do to help the businesses? And not only the businesses, all the people that, you know, like the older people in town, they now have to think about going to Woodford. If they can't get to Woodford, if, you know, they don't have someone to take them, they may only go there once a fortnight, once a month, but what do they do?
Yeah, I'd love them not to close. Like, oh, geez, I'd love them not to close. But yeah, the convenience of them being there is, yeah, it's just wonderful. But yeah, obviously they're only thinking of their, I mean, when you think of their $1 million profits that they make, it's an insult that they want to close all these branches. That's, yeah, I wasn't sure that I could say stuff like that. But.
Well, I intend to try to say face-to-face to Mr Elliott if I get the opportunity, and I've reached out to the CEO of ANZ to try to have this conversation about the impacts to my community. First of all, they closed Toogoolawah, and now off the back of that decision, they're closing Kilcoy. It means loss of jobs, it means loss of confidence to the local community, and devastatingly, people will take their business elsewhere, and that is not good for ANZ, but it's terrible for our local community. So I look forward to having the conversation face to face with him, and I'm not going to give up until I have it. Whether he will sit down across from me, I'm not sure. But you know, I'm putting out the call to say, explain to me, as a member of Parliament from a regional community, why this is a good decision.
I don't know how they come up with that decision. Maybe it was something to do with building lease or something like that. I would think that you know, to start, even if they had to change to another building, it'd be no different than doing a revamp on a branch, I wouldn't think. So you know, I believe that you know, maybe the ANZ could work harder on staying in the region, for sure.
Do you have any observations about the importance of bank branches to local communities?
Not of any great depth, other than I appreciate that, like many services, they're an important part of the fabric of any community, whether that community, wherever that community might be, but it is of particular importance and value in smaller communities, which in Australia tends to highly correlate to more regional and remote communities.